Good evening and welcome to the June 27th, 2024 Zoning Commission regular meeting held today at 7 p.m. in the Brookfield Town Hall, room 133. If you all please rise and state Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Here tonight at this meeting, I'll have the members introduce themselves, starting from my left.
Anthony Papucci, Vice Chairman.
Kurt Timmerman, Chairman.
Sean Turner, Secretary.
Matt Grimes, member.
Note that member Gwen Armet is absent this evening. Due to your just coming back, we're not going to go over the, you're only doing the zoning enforcement.
Once a month, and I just did it, last week.
Yeah. All right, so we have two sets of minutes to review and approve. The first is May 23rd. Now that we have three of us here that were there, did anybody see any modifications or corrections or anything?
Yep.
All right, I'll accept a motion to approve them.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for May 23rd, 2024.
Do I have a second?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of accepting the minutes of May 23rd, say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Matt Grimes abstains. And the next one is June 13th, 2024.
I'll move that we approve those as submitted.
Any second?
Second.
Any corrections? I noted a couple corrections. On line 58, where it says Town Attorney Tom Beecher has been invited to the June 27, 2024 meeting, it should read strike had been invited and replaced with has been asked to submit opinions for the 24th and 27th meeting, because we were talking about getting his opinions in for all the language in our old business. And then the second one is line 147, where it says change in your inquiry form, and they felt that there was a conflict of interest. Insert no between and conflict, because isn't that what you said, Matt? There was no conflict of interest?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't, and I was going to bring that up actually. The gist of the inquiry had nothing to do with conflict of interest.
Right. Therefore, there was
But
no.
they said that that's their only,
That's what they do.
yeah.
So they felt there was no conflict of interest.
But we didn't say that there was, so.
No. They said there wasn't, so that just, and that's all I found. So, any other corrections, modifications? All in favor of the amended minutes?
All right.
Aye.
Nay? No nays, no abstentions? All right, thank you. Okay, the first is 13 Richards Row, application Z-24-29, so let me read the script. Not yet, soon. I just have to go through my spiel, and then you can stand up. This is a regular meeting of the Brookfield Zoning Commission. At this point in our agenda, we have scheduled a public hearing concerning the application of Kamas Magid, 13 Richard Road, Brookfield, Connecticut, application Z-24-29 for a proposed 31 by 20 foot home expansion, including 2 bedrooms, living area, deck, and modifications to existing kitchen. First, I'll have the members introduce themselves, starting from my left.
Anthony Papucci, Vice Chairman.
Kurt Timmerman, Chairman.
Sean Turner, Secretary.
Matt Grimes, member.
We will open this public hearing by calling on the Commission Secretary to read the legal notice of this, or the Vice Chair to read the legal notice of this hearing.
This is a notice of Brookfield Zoning Commission will hold 2 public hearings at Town Hall, 100 Pocono Road, room 133 at 7 p.m., 6/27/2024 for the application of 13 Richards Road, Z-24-29, Kamas Magid, application for proposed 31 by 20 home expansion, including 2 bedrooms, living area, deck, and modifications to existing kitchen, and 29 Critchin Hill Road, Z-24-31, Martin and Joan McCaffrey, application for proposed bathroom and kitchen and basement. At this hearing, interested persons will be, or may appear and be heard, and written communications will be received. Files are available for inspection at Town Hall. Kurt Timmerman, Chairman.
Thank you. The application was formally received by the commission on June 13th, 2024. The public hearing is only one aspect of the approval process and is for purposes of accepting factual information and data bearing on this application and to allow expression of opinion by interested parties. Subsequent to this hearing, the commission has 65 days in which to render a decision on this proposal. The final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved as stipulations, or denied. After reading into the record the correspondence received by the commission relative to this application, we will ask the applicant to present the application in detail. The presentation will be limited to 45 minutes. The chair will then entertain questions of clarification concerning the applicant's presentation. We will hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public will have one opportunity to speak during this segment of the hearing and may also submit their concerns in writing during the public hearing. During this segment, the commissioners may ask additional questions. The bylaws of the commission only allow for the presentation of similar positions in succession and preclude the intermixture of comments pro or con. All questions and comments must be directed through the chair. As you are recognized, please state your name and address so your comments may be legally recorded. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the commission is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. After the public comments are received, the applicant will have the opportunity to comment, and time will be limited to 10 minutes. Any questions on the procedure?
Point of order.
Yes.
The application itself, it says 13 Richard Road. It's actually 13 Richards Road.
All right, I'll have
we
it
need that
corrected
dec-
on the
We
application.
need to have that corrected
Yeah.
for the record. So
Thank you.
that
All
was
right. Is there any correspondence? I don't think there was.
I don't believe so.
No, there's just only correspondence for the next one. All right, so we're now prepared to hear the applicant's presentation. Before you actually get into it, could you initial the correction I'm going to put on here to make sure the road name is correct? I have a pen. Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Sorry, usually.
And everything else is good. And just initial it here and here for the correction. All right, thank you.
So my name is Melvin Paulino. I'm the architectural designer.
And your address?
3 Claremont Avenue, Danbury, Connecticut.
Okay,
Camus McGee, 13 Richards Road.
okay, thank you.
So we're here to see if we can get a single-family conversion. We would like to add a kitchenette to the basement, level for his daughter to live in when she comes home from college.
All right, so this is a raised ranch, and the back is a walkout?
Yes.
Is that, okay. And the existing deck, is that on the level ground? I mean, is it off the lower level?
Yes. So it's kind of like a double deck. It has one on the lower level, one on the upper.
Oh, all right. And are you going to maintain a double deck?
No, we are demoing the double deck and then extending an addition and then
Yep.
adding another deck to it.
All right.
Only on the second level there'll be a deck. Now it's not a double deck anymore.
Oh, so the deck will, so when you walk out the lower level, you'll be shielded
Yes.
from the sky. It'll be like a roof. almost.
Yes.
All right. And thank you for the good drawings here.
Did you go out there, Fran?
I have not been out there.
I noticed on Google Maps and stuff, the slant slopes down from
Yes.
behind you into the woods and everything.
Yeah, so it does slam down quite significantly, but we're gonna work with that. The septic tank is around it, but I have already worked with health department to work around those. And Paul has been out there several times
Yep.
to inspect the area and give us some advice as to how far we can go.
So the septic tank's not moving. You
No.
just had to locate it.
Mm-hmm.
And he verified the Department of Health said okay, or sanitation.
You can go to this limit.
All right. Any questions from the other commission members?
How much does this change the current footprint? Because if they're putting where the lower deck was, seems like that's kind of where they're going out. I was trying to figure that out and looking at it.
Oh, it looks like the addition is, according to the application, was it 31 by 20?
What's the deck that they're taking out?
And the deck, yeah, let's see what it says on the drawing. Yeah, the deck doesn't seem to have a dimension on it.
Sure, but I can give you that now.
Yeah, I'm looking at, maybe it has one.
So the deck itself,
The one that you're taking out, the one that you're looking to demo.
the deck is 40 feet long by about 29 feet and 10 inches wide.
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
No, what's the one you're taking out?
The one that we're taking out,
Yeah.
that one is approximately 18 feet 6 inches long by 10 foot 6 wide.
So you're doubling it, basically,
Mhm.
doubling the size.
In that area, it is very hilly and mountainous, and it has a lot of ledge. So he really doesn't have a backyard. So the deck is essentially his backyard, because his backyard's all sloped.
For the septic,
Mhm.
in looking at the drawing, and I'm just making sure that I'm not missing something.
Yes.
How far is, though Paul's been out to look at it, has he said there are any encroachments as far as the work that's gonna be done to the septic field and/or where the tank is? Again, not looking to have it moved, but
No.
there's enough distance between the two, and the septic field is large enough to deal with the expansion.
Yes, he gave us our limits, which the deck has to be approximately 10 feet away from the septic tank, and that's as close as we can get.
Okay.
So the addition is two-story addition.
Yes.
The top story is just for the main house. and
Yes.
The bottom story is the apartment that you want to put in.
Yes, so the top story will consist of a minor kitchen renovation, and then a master suite, and also a living room area.
All right. And the lower level will be a full accessory apartment, which is kitchenette, bathroom, bedroom, and living room. and
Yes,
Closet.
and a small bedroom.
Yep. And this, so for the members, it's got to be, what is it, 480 to 800 feet?
Square feet, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the other thing, it had to be,
Yep.
which it meets that requirement.
Right, 480 right there. Okay. And your daughter will be?
His daughter.
My daughter.
Your daughter,
Yeah.
yeah, not your daughter, your daughter. All right, anybody else have any questions from the commission? All right, now let's see, does anybody in the audience have questions or clarification about the application? Anybody who wants to speak in favor of the application? Anybody? Nobody? Anybody who'd like to speak in opposition? Okay. All right, any last words?
Just that this doesn't affect any appearance from the street. You won't even see the addition from the street. You'll only be able to notice this if you go into the house and go to the actual space or go to the back of the home.
Yeah.
But this will not be visible from the street level at all.
All right,
Motion to close the public hearing.
all right.
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt and Tony. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. That is unanimous. Would you like to go into deliberations right now and just to roll it along? Yeah. And one of the things about the accessory apartment is that it should be not change the look and feel of a single-family residential area, and this doesn't. If you look at the house, you won't see this from the road or anywhere, even from the neighbors. So, everything else seems to be in order. I'll accept a motion for approval.
I will make a motion to approve 13 Richards Road, Z-24-29, MS McGee, application for the 31 by 20 home expansion, with including 2 bedrooms, living room, and modifications to existing kitchen.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? No abstentions, so is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I have to put my things back together here.
Check the date.
Oh, yes. Please. Okay. I have to find the application. Thanks, Matt. There it is. Put it on this side. All right. One down, thank you. Could you put that, that's a script.
For this one?
I think so, yes.
Yes, it is. Got it.
And these are all the returns. It fell out, it was my fault.
Got it. We have to read this again, just playing it safe. read it
Sure,
twice.
Sure, you don't only have to read the second.
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we're moving on to 29 Pritton Hill Road, application Z-24-31. This is a regular meeting of the Brookfield Zoning Commission. At this point in our agenda, we have scheduled a public hearing concerning the application of Martin and Joe McCaffrey, 29 Pritton Hill Road, Brookfield,
Take your
Connecticut.
conversation outside if you're gonna, while we're having a meeting here.
Application Z-24-31 for a proposed bathroom and kitchen and basement. I'll have the members introduce themselves again, starting from my left.
Anthony Papucci, Vice Chair.
Kurt Timmerman, Chairman.
Sean Turner, Secretary.
Matt Grimes, member.
We will open this public hearing by calling on the Vice Chair to read the legal notice of this hearing.
Brookfield Zoning Commission will hold public hearings in Town Hall, 100 Pocono Road, room 133 at 7 p.m. on June 27th, 2024 for the application 29 Pritton Hill Road, Z-24-31, Martin and Joan McCaffrey, application for a proposed bathroom and kitchen in the basement. At this time, interested persons may appear to be heard and written communications received. Files are available for inspection at Town Hall. Kurt Timmerman, Chairman.
The public hearing is only one aspect of the approval process and is for the purpose of accepting factual information and data bearing on this application and to allow expression of opinion by interested parties. Subsequent to this hearing, the Commission has 65 days in which to render a decision on this proposal. Final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or denied. After reading into the record the correspondence received by the Commission relative to the application, we will ask the applicant to present the application in detail. Presentation will be limited to 45 minutes. The Chair will then entertain questions of clarification concerning the applicant's presentation. We will hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public will have one opportunity to speak during the segment of the hearing and may also submit their concerns in writing during the public hearing. During this segment, the Commissioners may ask additional questions. The bylaws of the Commission allow only for the presentation of similar positions in succession and preclude the intermixture of comments pro or con. All questions and comments must be directed through the Chair. As you are recognized, please state your name and address so your comments may be legally recorded. Please be assured that everyone will be given a chance and an opportunity to speak. However, the Commission is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. After the public comments are received, the applicant will have the opportunity to comment, and the time will be limited to 10 minutes. Are there any questions this time? All right, the Vice Chair will read the correspondence, of which we have one piece.
To the Zoning Commission, Brookfield Town Hall, 100 Pocono Road, Brookfield, Connecticut, 06804. Subject is McCaffrey zoning request, single-family conversion. Have received a notification letter to adjoining landowners, and we wanted to inform the Zoning Commission that we have no objections to this conversion, given its intended use. It is by direct family member or caregiver outlined in zoning regulation Article 3.16D. We wish the applicants, Martin and Joan McCaffrey, a successful application in the commission meeting on June 27th. Signed, Will Melke and Jean Harnett.
Thank you. Here we go. All right, now we're prepared to hear the applications. And don't forget to state your name and address.
Martin McCaffrey, 29 Britton Hill Road.
And what do you want to do today?
We want to put in a kitchen and a bathroom down in the basement. Our daughter's moving in with us, and her 2 children are going to live on the first floor. We're going to move down into the basement.
All right.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
I think I need to recuse myself from this because I know the applicant and their kids.
Okay. Let the record show that Sean Turner has recused himself, so we have 3 members.
Do we need 4 to have a public hearing now?
I think that's only in the variance.
Okay.
All right, what sort of arrangement is your house? Is it,
It's a ranch,
A ranch?
straight ranch with a full basement,
and is it a walkout basement or?
walkout basement.
Okay, so this is how you're gonna get out,
Yes,
and so you must be on a slope of some sort.
yes.
All right, and any other commissioners have some questions on this?
I think we looked at this, or I looked at this last week. My question was around its size. It's under the,
It's 728 square
Okay.
feet, yeah, according to this right here.
That's already existing too.
okay. And that was gonna be my second question. Is it existing space that you're just converting?
Converting,
Okay.
And it looks like some open concept, basically.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
I frankly don't see any problem with it.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, so, anything else you'd like to say before I open it up to the audience?
Nope.
Is there any questions or clarification from the audience? Is there anybody who'd like to speak in favor of the application? Anybody who'd like to oppose the application? And you have 10 more minutes to wrap it up then.
I'm wrapped up.
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing.
All
I
right,
second
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Tony. All in favor of closing the public hearing? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that's 3 of us. That's Tony, myself, Kurt Timmerman, and Matt Grimes. All right, should we go into deliberations? As Matt had said, and I agree, I don't see anything wrong with this. In fact, this doesn't change the outward appearance at all. It's
No.
all internal.
No.
I'll
Great.
move that we approve application Z2431 for 29 Britton Hill Road for Martin and Joan McCaffrey. That's a proposed conversion for a proposed bathroom and kitchen to the basement.
All right, and second?
I second.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Matt. Any discussion on the motion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous, that's Tony Papucci, Kurt Timmerman, and Matt Grimes. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
You're approved.
I was gonna say start stamping.
Start stamping. All right. The official one, right? Let the record show that Sean Turner is now unrecused himself and is back as a seated member of the board at commission. All right.
Which copy do you want to send? Does it matter?
Oh, I
We only
have,
have the one.
oh, do we? Yeah, put it in this one. And could you correct that, they had 2023 on the intro, just so they see it. I'd improvise. Say
That's fine.
2024.
Gotcha.
All right, the next order of business is 7A draft regulation changes. Everybody got my email that I forwarded from the town attorney, Tom Beecher? And he went over and he gave a marked up copy, didn't too many markups.
No.
Other than that, my opinion is we should probably just submit what he's redlined and gave a clean copy as our language, and then submit it.
So
And
would
then
we
can-
set a public hearing next time then?
Yeah, because I have to.
Okay,
I
we have to actually submit the application. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll submit it tomorrow.
Okay,
at,
and then next meeting, we'll set a public hearing for the following meeting.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I mean, just small stuff here and there, so that was good. Like he put in care, his changes are blue. There's so many colors, he said.
Do we need to make a motion to authorize Kurt to submit an application on behalf of the zoning commission?
No, I think it's chair, he can do it.
I have that, yeah. So I'll tomorrow submit the application and we'll get a number then. And then, yes, at next meeting, we'll set the public hearing.
Okay. Good enough.
Then the next one is the fee, is the next one fee schedule?
Yep.
Seeing as Laura's not here, maybe we should wait until she's back from vacation. The third one is, response to planning commission. Did everybody read the thing, and does anybody have any, thoughts on the blank squares, or even the ones I had filled in and thought that maybe, strike stuff, change stuff, add stuff? This is the letter.
Yeah, no, I went through it. What I'm struggling is in reviewing the information and reviewing some of the notes,
Yeah,
I'm struggling with trying to come up with a reference. And though some of the boxes and things lined up, some, at least I don't see them lining up. And I'm not sure, that could be me.
oh, I went from their original letter here, paraphrased some of it, because
Right.
they have long things.
Right.
If I made a mistake, I should go back and, if I
I
missed
don't think it's a mistake. I'm trying to tie, again, because in the essence of this,
Yeah,
they were going back, 10 years ago.
exactly.
That's where, again, in some of the things where you've called out, there are gaps.
Yeah.
I don't have the reference.
Oh,
And
and,
trying to come up with that, it's kind of hard to make the comment.
Yes.
Oh, I think this is wrong because 10 years ago, this is the position. And
Yeah.
I just, I
some of
couldn't
that's,
find it.
yeah, some of that's difficult, because if you hadn't been looking through the regs, then, like you said, you don't have any reference. Other things actually were taken care of, in the regs, and so I try to capture, things that have, some of these regs were made before I even, came. Well, I was on the ZBA, but I was unaware of the TCD regs being formulated by the zoning commission at the time.
The TCD regs, since they started, have always been an evolution almost. They've
Yeah.
never really been the way they were intended maybe when they started, and then as you go on, which kind of like a POCD, any POCD, it's not a set in stone thing.
Yeah.
It's always, it's kind of a guideline of what you want to do for the
Yep,
next 10 years.
Right, but trying to compare, and I agree, I would expect it to be holistic in a living document, so to speak. The problem is when someone goes and tries to reference 10 years in the past, or a set time in the past. Again, as the document has changed, trying to get back to that point, if the goalposts have already moved and have been accepted, how do you, again, it's now a square hole, round peg. How do you
Yeah.
get them to actually match up? And looking at some of the stuff, I was personally struggling with that. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, there's some references that I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
The way I took it, because it was done 10 years ago, and they want to see, they're asking, this was our goal and our roadmap, how did we do on it? And one of the big roadmap parts was that revitalization plan that was brought up. And some of the POCD, they refer back to it on some of the things, community forum. I'm like, well, what the heck is that? And then when I read it, I understood, oh, that's what that is. And then everybody had their task, you know, whether it was planning, zoning to make regs or something else. And so from that, through that lens, I looked back at only what I knew from, you know, the TCD going forward, those regs. And, you know, did they meet what their blue sky was? I mean, some things for example, they had something about civic spaces in Four Corners. Well, we did try to do that, but it was hard to put a library down in that area, because you
Right.
had to find private property, you had to buy it, and that was a tough sell. So, no, we didn't do that, but what other civic things? And it all runs into the fact that maybe someone doesn't want to sell, and you have to have the town agree to buy it in the first place. So, those things are kind of, the only thing we can do with that is have zoning regs that would allow that sort of thing, which we do. So the regs allow it. It's you know, it's up to another one of these groups that was part of the revitalization plan. Their task was to try to push it forward, which, you know, there was a group, the
Right.
library group tried to push it forward. The other thing I noticed in there was trying to reduce the number of curve cuts and shared parking among properties. And that sounds like a great idea, but we tried to ask developers last time about that, and they didn't want to take the liability on for someone else's customers coming across their property. That's a tough sell. You'd almost have to have the property under one ownership and then have leases, kind of like ShopRite. There's a perfect example of internal roadways to keep the traffic off Federal Road, and you can, you know, drive in two different places and then go to multiple shops.
Right.
But you know, like Starbucks and the place next to it, the urgent care that we just approved, that would have been great if we could convince both of them, hey, can you cut through there to get the light instead of trying to drive out? But that would have been a tough sell to Starbucks. They would have been like, no way. We're queuing, you know, we have cars queuing through. We don't want someone coming in from the side. So some of those are nice to haves, but almost impossible to implement. And so that's what I try to capture, you know, from my point of view and my recollection. And then I filled in some points on mine, which I can share via email too, but the blank ones: economic housing, economic development, housing, and transportation. And they talked about fully develop a commercial corridor in a balanced manner. And one thing we did do in the rewrite is we created new commercial corridors, like the one big zone that used to be probably from Costco all the way, even further up from Costco, the cornfield all the way down. That used to be one zone. We split into two. The lower big box areas was the commercial regional zone, and that's where we want more regional things, keep the traffic down there. The further north is more of a neighborhood, smaller properties, smaller developments that, you know, because you're now starting to go towards our center of town. And then we created the gateway north and south around the TCD as gateways into the TCD to try to take people coming off the highway and ease them into the downtown, which would be more dense. You got to slow them down coming off the highway. They want to go fast, run red light, things like that. So those were things that were done in order as a response to that POCD and the initiative. So, because when the developers, the people we hired, Mylone and McBroom, which were the consultants to help us rewrite, they took all that into account. The revitalization docs, the TCD design docs and everything else, and try to come up with, you know, they would come up with a first cut and we'd all look at it and say, no, let's change it to that. And some of it was difficult because we were changing from a zone that was already there. We're trying to say, how much do we keep? What's the character we want to keep it? And so that's the process we went through. And that was the economic development part. For housing, encourage developers to build a wide array of housing, and especially seniors. They talk about park. Well, park regulations must have come in like when TCD did, because we do have a park. You know, age restricted, like Newberry Village. We only have one, but we allow them almost in every zone.
We have one, but we have parts of others where a certain number of the units are age restricted, I believe.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Farnbeck is partially.
Oh, is it age restricted?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
One,
Right.
one building is and one building isn't, the way that they built it.
It
Okay.
certainly is, and a few of the rentals have a certain number that have to be
Yeah.
restricted
Correct.
too.
And,
So,
yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that was, when Malone and McBroom did the rewrite, and I think Eric Cook brought this up at the time, was the fact that, yes, that we're doing the rewrite, we're writing these regulations, but that doesn't mean that the regulations are not gonna have to be looked at from time to time.
Yeah.
Some of them, because as you go through time, because that was how we wound up with some of the things. When somebody talks about how some of this stuff wound up
Yeah.
where it was because we weren't looking at
Yeah.
the regs, and we didn't, nor did we anticipate them.
Correct.
So,
And
you know,
we changed the structure to make that change easy.
right, so that right now, I mean, as you look at this, we're looking at regulations much more frequently
Yeah.
than we used to, so that you know that it was looked at on a certain date. So.
Yeah. And some of those things for adults, seniors, creation of, smaller apartments, having elevators in buildings.
But when we become the Planning and Zoning Commission at the end of '25 or whenever that's gonna be,
Yeah,
one of the things that has to be done, I mean, is a subcommittee within that commission that's like the policy subcommittee of the Board of Ed. That's the regulation committee that looks at the regulations on a rotating basis, so that, to see if anything needs to be tweaked and
Yeah.
everything. And that way, the rewrite was, what year was 18 or 17, was it?
2018.
It was 18?
That's
Okay.
when it finished.
That's when it finished, yeah.
So you look at a regulation in 25 or 26, and then when it comes up in 29, you can say, oh, well, look at it, we looked at it as recently as 26 and
Yeah.
everything. That's something that's gonna be very, very key for the new P and Z
Yeah.
commission to
and
work
there will
on.
be, reg changes coming out of that final POCD. So
Yeah.
that's what I saw for.
And I think for the most part, Kurt, you're right on target with a lot of what you supplied to us. I do think one of the things that's going to be key though this summer, and I've said this before, I say it again, we do need to have a sit down with the planning commission at some point, because we're gonna become one, and we're
Yeah.
gonna have to live with this POCD for the next decade.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
And I do want to commend Courtney Knapp. She's really taken the lead on this and really put the shoulder to the wheel on it. I
Yeah,
think
this
they're really
is-
doing a very good job reaching out and getting a lot of public input and a lot of
Yep.
public commentary and a lot of public education, because a lot of people don't know that we have this 10-year POCD out there. That's what.
Yeah, I don't think they know we have a POCD, a
Well,
guiding document.
And I think that the more that we can do, not only as a town, but the planning commission, the zoning commission too, let people know about it, and let them know that really this is their opportunity to participate in the process.
Yep.
But then, if you participate in the process now, we don't wanna wait 10 years to hear from you again, you
Yeah,
know?
you have to own it in between. The other thing about housing, consider revisions to allow parks, those were done. So we checked that one off, we did that one. 3 was promote the design of accommodate older residents, and that's the addition of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, because a lot of people want to downsize.
Right.
And I think the Brookfield Village, there's a lot of older people that are like, I'm done with the house, I want to walk to my restaurant and soon your
Soon
new
as-
grocery store. Yeah.
Yep.
And elevators, as I mentioned, and also, and this is what the fire department and ambulance asked, stretcher compatible ones. They have to be big enough for stretchers, so it keeps them down. And then the other the last part, the 3 is transportation. Complete improvements on 4 corners, pedestrian, bike-friendly streetscape, and Greg Dombowski's done a bang-up job getting that done. So, a lot are in, and then there's going to be, of course, streetscape phase 6, which goes north to Newberry Village, and the one that goes south past the grocery store. And they talked about, again, internal connections between adjacent lots, so that's tricky. Consider reg changes to support a master plan and strategies for this section. I would say that the Four Corners revitalization plan is that master plan, and that we're doing it again, and it's the implementation plan for the POCD. And so and the regs also fall out of that. And we did do that. That was taken into account in our regs in section 5.1B. And also we have the additional appendix 2, which is the TCD design guidelines. That's part of the regs. So anybody who's going in there, they have to abide by those. And then the last was alleviate vehicular congestion for Southern Federal Road. Part of that was the Chick-fil-A state stuff. So that's a state road. Some of that's hard, but some of that is looking at what sort of applications come in. This is where traffic studies come in, curb cuts, alleviating and
The
making
widening
sure.
of that area was over a decade in the making.
Oh, yeah. As soon as, everybody knew, as soon as Chick-fil-A opened, you're gonna need that.
Right.
And it took that long to convince, well, didn't take that long to convince it, because the wheels move slowly in the engineering projects. But finally, they did that. So those are, of the last 8 or 7 blocks, that's what I had here, and I can send that out to you guys, so you can look at what my thoughts were. And then add more, or say, what are you, crazy here, or I don't agree with that. It's whatever's fine. So
So we'll keep that on the agenda for
we'll
next.
keep that on the agenda, I'll send it out to you, and then, once we say, hey, that looks good, then I'll draft up a letter with this table in it back to Courtney Knapp. The next one is discussion of a potential multifamily development moratorium. Where do I have that? Oh, right here. The attorney did look at it. His comments were about, he just said, sometimes you can't make it too many zones, too many districts. And then the other thing was for how long, My initial thought was 1 year, but that would, because the POCD takes time to go, and we need to get some idea about what direction that's heading in. And how long do they have, 2 years or 1 year to finish it?
What, the POC,
What's it do?
they can extend it. They usually, what does that statute say? I wrote this RFP too when I was a town attorney, so.
So that would be in conjunction with that.
Yeah,
That's
but
why I was thinking 1 year.
we can re-up a moratorium after a year, so.
Yeah, yeah. So other than that, you thought the language was just fine. And then, of course, that would have to, so what I could do is also put in an application for this, so we could set the public hearing and get that process started. All right. And of course, with either of these public hearings on reg changes, changes can be made once we're into it. If we get feedback and we don't like the way people don't like certain things. What did I just do with my? I lost it already. All right, the next one is AA 46 Sandy Lane.
Okay, I will make a motion to set a public hearing for July 11th, 2024 regarding 46 Sandy Lane. That's application Z-24-37. That's Marco Almeida for SA Houses LLC. And that's a special permit design review application. So that's
All
for
right.
July 11th, 2024, which is our next regular meeting.
Right, thank you, Matt. And do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
Beat
Sean.
you to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's like, where did I hear it first? Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. So that's going to be July 11th. Note that there's only one meeting in July. Right?
As of now.
Yeah, as of now, yeah. For 8B, 202 Candlewood Lake Road, we're just accepting the application tonight only because the attorney's looking at it. We're trying to determine if it's a special, change to a special permit, which I think he made mention of that, but he'll know more. We'll hear more from him. If it is a special permit modification,
We would need to set a public hearing at the
Exactly.
July 11th meeting for the first meeting in August.
yes, exactly. Yeah, all that.
When, Tom had been on vacation, right?
Yeah, no, he's back. I've
Okay.
heard back from him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was just, we have some folks here on that application, so just let them know it's still with
Yeah,
council
so,
review.
so anybody who's here for 202 Candlewood Lake Road, we're not opening the application tonight. Our attorney's got to look at it because it's a large package, and then decide what type of application needs to be. So it's a site plan modification, which we don't think it is, or he didn't. That's his first blush. He thinks it's a special permit modification, in which case we'd have to set a public hearing so people could, you know, have.
But he hasn't formally opined on it yet.
No,
So
no, he
once,
hasn't.
once he does, we'll kind of know what direction it's going in.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
once
and I'm sure somebody will be in touch with you guys ASAP, so.
Yep.
And, now, even though we don't have a public hearing, so we do acknowledge, we did get some correspondence on this application. So, Now,
We're not getting
No, we're-
into it tonight.
Yeah, we're just
no, no,
receiving the
well, my-
application.
my question is this, though. If it is determined, because if it is determined that it does need a public hearing, would that correspondence then have to get resubmitted? Because it's kind of jumped the gun.
Well, it was submitted with the application, and we're receiving the application
Oh,
today.
okay, I thought it just came in on its own. I didn't think it was submitted with the
Oh,
application.
you know what, you're right,
It
Matt,
was
I,
submitted to the attorney, and copied by, and copied with Laura.
Oh, okay, I thought these people were just sending them in on their own.
well, they sent it to the land use office, and it's
Right.
up on our agenda, so.
I mean, does that affect it, though, if Tom decides, yes, the route we need to go is that?
I'll ask him that question.
Yeah, because,
Because since we received the application, then that probably triggers, that's okay to accept that, but I'll ask him.
Yeah.
okay,
You know, That,
we just wanna make sure we do it right, that's
yeah,
all.
let me write down. I'll ask about, what about, letters from public?
Because usually if we don't entertain correspondence like that until,
Yeah.
if there is gonna be a public hearing, we don't know that there is at this point, but if there is, we usually would do it after we've noticed the public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 8C, 14 Murphy's Lane. Is anybody here for that? No?
Okay, so I guess we'll
Oh.
make a motion to continue that to July 11th.
Yeah. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's continued to Z-24-39.
Yes, I seconded it.
Yeah, Tony second, yeah. Matt,
Did you say all in favor or no?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
All in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
Did he know we had him on the agenda tonight?
Oh, them?
No,
No,
the-
14 Murphys.
Yeah, yeah, as far as I know, I just,
Oh,
today's
okay.
today's my first day back, so.
Yeah.
Well, get on it.
All right, no tabled items, commissioner comments or an informal
Yeah,
discussion?
I do want to commend the entire commission, because, you know, I think we had about 30 or so folks here the other night for the new Freedom of Information workshop, and our commission was the only one that had 100% attendance.
Yeah.
And it was a very informative presentation. I'm glad they set it up.
Yeah.
It's something that should be done at least every other year, and it's very, very informative. And if, you know, it really is so valuable for any member of the board or commission to do that, but I was really happy the whole zoning commission
Yeah,
came.
well,
and
thank you, Matt.
A lot of
Yeah, I
good,
thought
lot of
that was
good questions too that night, too.
Yeah, yeah, that was very interesting. Put the scare into you, everybody.
No, no,
No.
no, but it's more
You have
informative,
to-
also, especially also, you know, because we've kind of been, because we're a relatively newer commission with a pioneer as far as executive sessions, and I thought the talk about executive sessions was very, very helpful.
Yeah. Yep, especially, you know, about what is possible to go into executive session, you know, the only reasons can do it. So
Right.
that was
Like
good,
I said, I thought that was very informative.
yeah. So, you know, and the email lives forever. That was the other thing. Once, you can have an executive session, but don't, you know, no notes, but if you write an email, then it becomes public.
Right.
And so it no longer has that confidentiality. The other thing that was.
Unless it's attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, unless that. But the other troubling thing was that people don't get punished for breaking that confidentiality.
Well, they could, and that was kind of the question that I asked towards the end, was that, if, remember, one of the things that qualified for treatment in executive sessions was personnel.
Yeah,
And I asked the question about, does that include members of the board and commission?
Yeah.
So I would say, and not to belabor the point, but I would say that if a member of any board and commission or zoning commission or whatever violated the confidentiality of executive session, I would think that member would be subject to discipline, meaning censure by the commission, and that would be discussed in executive session. And I do think that if you violated something about an employee, especially if they were subject to a collective bargaining agreement, they would have recourse
Yeah,
that
right.
way.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah, it could
legally,
be.
that would be the issue, but
Yeah.
the one glaring takeaway was
and you're right, there was limited what could be done, although the shunning or,
Shunning.
you know, if you did something like
Censure,
that, you might have an issue, but everybody on your board or the wider group will definitely be like, I think this is gonna stop.
And I have opined on this subject when I was town attorney, and the two ways that you can deal with a member that goes straight from a board or commission is one, to either censure them, or two, remove them from their officer position. You can't take them out of office or.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
But thanks to everybody for going. I thought it was a great discussion that night.
I
Yeah,
agree.
It was good. Yeah, it was good that everybody was there. I didn't know what kind of cross-section. Conservation Committee was there.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
there was a couple of Board of Ed members there. I
Yep.
saw some folks from the library board, the Board of Ethics. I saw some from, a couple of ZBA members were there.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
It was really a good, we had about 30 some odd people here, and
Yeah,
Laura
that was good.
Bukowski was here too.
right, well, I was talking to Laura, when I got here,
Were you the only one, were you the first one here?
there were 3, and that was like 10 minutes before. And she was really sweating it. She's like, you know, if you're the only one or one of the few to show up, and at that time I was the only land use person. And literally after she said that, everybody started to walk in, and it was like, okay, I'm feeling better.
I was 10 minutes late, and I was worried, and then I saw, wow, 30 people here.
Yeah. All right, anything else? Anybody?
Hand up.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Second?
Second?
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. 40.